Are you aware of the recent devastating floods in Libya? A catastrophic event unfolded on the eastern shores of this North African nation, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The culprit, Storm Daniel, a Mediterranean cyclone that ruthlessly swept through cities and towns, claiming thousands of lives and displacing countless more. Derna, a city with an already fragile infrastructure, bore the brunt of this disaster, its plight intensified by the collapse of two dams. In the next few minutes, we'll delve into what happened and how it unfolded. The storm named Daniel was the catalyst for this calamity. A Mediterranean cyclone, Daniel, formed off the coast of Libya. Its birth was an ominous sign of the devastation to come. As this cyclone journeyed across the Mediterranean Sea, it began to gather strength, feeding off the warm waters. Its path was set towards Libya, a country already grappling with its own set of challenges. As Daniel made landfall, it brought with it torrential rains. These were not the usual showers that grace the eastern coastal towns of Libya. These were relentless, unyielding downpours that seemed to go on for an eternity. The towns, especially Derna, bore the brunt of this deluge, their already fragile infrastructure unable to withstand the onslaught. Now let's take a step back and understand the state of Libya's infrastructure at the time. Since the uprising in 2011, Libya has been without a central government. This political vacuum has resulted in minimal investment in infrastructure. The towns that faced the wrath of Daniel were already dealing with crumbling infrastructure. Derna, in particular, was a city on the edge. Previously controlled by extremist groups, it had been liberated by forces loyal to the East-based government in 2018. But the scars of conflict were still evident in its decaying infrastructure. The heavy rains from Storm Daniel were too much for the already strained dams in Derna. The two dams, frail from years of neglect, collapsed under the onslaught. It's important to note that these dams had not been maintained despite funds being allocated for this very purpose. This neglect, coupled with the ferocious rains, led to a catastrophic failure of the dams. And so the stage was set for a disaster of unprecedented proportions. The collapse of the dams triggered devastating floods that swept across the towns, leaving a path of destruction in their wake. But this was just the beginning of a tragedy that would claim thousands of lives and leave an indelible mark on the history of Libya. With the dams collapsing, the towns were left defenseless against the deluge. The torrent of water was an unstoppable force, mercilessly sweeping through the towns in its path. Derna, once a bustling city, now bore the brunt of the disaster. The city's infrastructure, already crumbling, was no match for the raging waters. Buildings were flattened, roads were washed away, and the town was plunged into darkness as power lines toppled. Thousands of lives were lost in the blink of an eye. As the floodwaters receded, the magnitude of the devastation became apparent. The death toll was staggering, with over 11,000 lives claimed by this unforgiving disaster. Even more heartbreaking was the number of people missing, a chilling figure that surpassed 10,000. Entire families were swept away, their fates unknown, their whereabouts a mystery. But the tragedy didn't end there. The flood left behind a trail of destruction, a harsh reminder of the disaster that had unfolded. Homes were reduced to rubble, streets were filled with debris, and the city was eerily silent, save for the wailing sirens of rescue vehicles. The city's residents were left homeless, their belongings destroyed, their lives uprooted. In the aftermath of the flood, the city was plunged into a state of chaos. With no electricity, the nights were pitch black, the silence punctuated by the cries of people searching for their loved ones. The communication lines were down, leaving the residents of Derna cut off from the rest of the world. They were isolated, afraid, and in desperate need of help. Amidst the destruction, the spirit of the people remained unbroken. They banded together, helping each other in the face of adversity. They searched for survivors, provided comfort to those grieving, and shared whatever resources they had. Their resilience was a beacon of hope in the midst of despair. The situation in Derna was described as catastrophic, with no electricity or communications. A city once full of life was now a ghost town, a testament to the power of nature and the fragility of human life. Yet in the face of such adversity, the spirit of humanity shone brighter than ever. In the wake of the disaster, the world has been called to action. The devastation left by Storm Daniel is beyond the capacity of any one nation to handle, and the urgent call for humanitarian assistance has echoed across the globe. The United Nations and various international partners have issued a clarion call for aid, underlining the gravity of the situation. The destruction is vast, the need is immediate, and the response demanded is massive. The lack of electricity and communication has made the situation even more dire. The U.S. Embassy in Libya, along with other foreign governments, have pledged their support in these trying times. Their commitment goes beyond words, promising tangible aid and resources to help the victims of this calamity. The international community has shown its willingness to stand by Libya, to bring relief to the affected people, and to aid in the efforts to rebuild. Charitable organizations have also risen to the occasion. Islamic Relief Worldwide, Libya in the UK, CARE, the International Medical Corps, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, and UNICEF, among others, are offering their assistance. These organizations are working tirelessly to provide immediate relief to those affected by the flooding. They are on the ground, navigating the challenges to reach those in need, offering food, shelter, and medical care. The call for aid is a testament to our shared humanity. It is a reminder that in times of disaster, borders and political affiliations become irrelevant. The world comes together to extend a helping hand, to share resources, and to alleviate suffering. As the people of Libya grapple with this calamity, the world watches and reaches out, hoping to alleviate their suffering. The road to recovery will be long and arduous, but with the collective efforts of nations and organizations around the world, there is hope that Libya will rise from this tragedy stronger and more resilient. The floods in Libya serve as a stark reminder of the power of nature. This catastrophe, triggered by Storm Daniel and worsened by neglected infrastructure, has brought untold suffering to thousands. It underscores the urgent need for adequate disaster preparedness and infrastructure maintenance to prevent such tragedies in the future. The international community's response, though commendable, highlights the importance of proactive rather than reactive measures. As we conclude, our thoughts go out to the victims of this disaster, and we hope for a swift and comprehensive recovery for Libya. Before we conclude this video, we want to take a moment to remind you all of the importance of staying informed and prepared for such events. By subscribing to our channel, you'll have access to regular updates on global events, preventive measures, and how you can help in times of crisis. You'll also be part of a community dedicated to understanding and addressing these global challenges. Remember, knowledge is power, and together, we can make a difference. So don't forget to hit that button and the notification bell so you won't miss our next video. Let's work together to create a safer, more resilient world. Thank you for your time and stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos.